So this might be a series. This is called Charlie versus Phil, or Phil versus Charlie. We're going to talk about a topic. According to the worst teacher I've ever had, right-thinking people can be on both sides of the issue. And
the teacher was an idiot.
Yes, he was. And this topic is the Star Trek 2009 movie. The scope is limited to that movie, not the sequels. I will allow you to use your existing appreciation for Star Trek or existing feelings. I'll get us started. I thought Star Trek 2009 was a good movie. I thought it was fun and well cast, and it moved.
He's way too ethical for this discussion.
Shut up. Okay. I thought Star Trek, the 2009 reboot, was fun. I thought it was really well cast. It moved quick. Had a lot of nice twists and turns. If I thought about the plot too much, it'd probably not be as good of a movie, but for the time I was there and looking back on it, I've seen it maybe 3 times. I enjoyed it. Good movie. Phil, what do you think about Star Trek?
I will go ahead and agree with you that if your idea of the future is nothing but only incredibly handsome people, it's well cast.
That's how I think.
It's the dumbest fucking movie I have seen since Star Trek 2, which we'll get to later. It's not fun. People who think it's fun are fucking retarded.
Yeah.
If your idea of having fun is to see a series of pictures up on a giant ass screen that make no logical sense, do not explain anything, don't even explain previous scene you previously watched, yes, by all means say you had fun. But for those of us who actually want to watch a movie that has a plot and makes sense, it's the dumbest damn thing I've ever seen.
The plot was Kirk, whatever his name is, Kirk becoming and acting like a captain through a series of events that, some of those events are total coincidence. And you probably shouldn't have that many coincidences in a movie. But it tracks him becoming a leader and acting like it. It's a pretty traditional, hero's journey.
No, it's not. A pretty traditional hero's journey has an antagonist that has a motivation that makes sense. Has something that you can follow and go, okay, I understand what the bad guy's trying to accomplish here. The bad guy in Star Trek 2009 makes no goddamn sense. The whole time travel thing makes no goddamn sense. I'm fine with time travel in a movie. This movie is fucking retarded. Excuse me for my non-PC language, but I hate this goddamn movie. Okay, look, first of all, all of a sudden the sun around Romulus goes supernova, at which point, what the hell's the guy's name? Nero. Okay, Nero in a miner. He's a miner. Yep. Not an underage person. He is a miner. He mines asteroids. That is his profession.
Yep.
He goes back in time, along with Spock. Now, mind you, he goes back in time to the point in time of Kirk's birth. That is the moment in time he reappears in the past.
Is it confirmed, or does the movie just sequence it so it's about the same time, or is it definitely comes back to the time?
He gets James Tiberius Kirk gets named during the destruction of his dad. Okay. So maybe a day later, whatever, right? But certainly not 5 years later. It's like either the moment of or the day after, like whatever. James Tiberius Kirk is a fucking baby, and this goddamn asshole comes back in time. And as soon as he reappears, he destroys an entire fleet of Star Trek vessels. For no reason. Just wipes out an entire fleet.
Revenge because they did not save his existing planet.
What do you mean he didn't know about the plan for the Starfleet to even help. If he knew about it, he wouldn't be going after Spock. Somehow he thinks that, Anyways, he goes back in time, He goes back in time, he wipes out an entire fleet of fucking vessels. Now, mind you, the implication here is that he was sent back in time and somewhere else in space. They use it as a 4th dimensional coordinate to move him. Not just he went back in time in the exact same spot, because if he did, then that means that there was an entire fleet of Starfleet vessels around Romulus at the time.
Counterpoint, I don't care. A lot of bad guys in movies are stupid. He was motivated by revenge. The revenge clouded his judgment, so instead of being proactive in saving his planet, he uses to focus with... it's a mining ship, but it's future technology, so...
Hold on. Clouded his judgment for...
50 years. Whatever. Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, 20
For 20 years. Okay, he goes back in time, blows up James Tiberius Kirk's dad, and then all of a sudden, he has been moved backwards both in space and time. The movie never really made it clear, if I remember correctly, whether or not he knew he went back in time. But he knew something happened. And then I want
He had to have known he went back in time.
I guess, but then he didn't move. He literally stayed in the same spot for, call it 20 years. Who knows how Kirk's supposed to be in this fucking movie? For 20 years, he sat there in space. For 20 years, his whole crew was like, you know what? That guy's got it. That's cool. We'll sit here and not ever resupply, not ever figure out what's going on with Romulus. We went back in time and moved in space, but we're good here. We'll just wait here for 20 fucking years until Spock shows back up.
Any bad guy is going to have a flawed, reason to be bad, because being bad is
they don't need to have a flawed reason. Fucking Agent Smith in The Matrix didn't have a flawed reason. He fucking hated people. I get it. You could just not... Nero... Okay, look, Charlie, you like your mom, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you and your mom are taking a walk in a fucking park, and out of goddamn nowhere, a boulder falls, killing your fucking mom, and you fall into the ground, you hit your head, and all of a sudden you wake up, and you're 10 minutes in the past. There you are in the fucking park with your mom. You have two options, according to this goddamn movie. Option number one, you can tell your mom, hey, you know what, let's go walk, let's go over here. Let's move over here. Or option number two, kill every other motherfucker in the park.
Maybe because time travel wasn't a thing, maybe he thought preventing that thing.
Oh, no. You just said he knew he went back in time. 30 seconds ago, this
No, but his
conversation,
understanding
you said
of
he knew he went
time
back.
travel, because it isn't a common thing, maybe he thought you can't change major sequences like that. But again...
But he can kill Spock?
But again, I'm to a point of...
Vulcan, but he can't save Romulus?
But again, I'm to a point, who cares? He is a motivated bad guy. He's
No, he's
ignorable.
not.
He's
He's a series
ignorable enough.
Of illogical events.
He's ignorable enough to be angry enough so you want the good guys to win.
What good guys? What fucking good guys? What bad guys? It's just some fucking monster going around just doing shit, not even following fucking ocean rules. All this goddamn walkways, not even having fucking railings. For 25 fucking years of this goddamn vessel with no walkways, nobody falls to their fucking death. Or runs in the walkways.
No good guys, no bad guys? That sounds like a very complex tapestry.
Yes, Star Trek 2. We'll get to that. Star Trek 2. By the way, spoiler alert, Kirk's the bad guy in Star Trek 2. This movie is fucking stupid. I need to have a movie where my bad guy, in some way, shape, or form, actually... I don't even need a complicated fucking plot. John Wick, one of the most uncomplicated plots you'll ever see. Motherfucker kills his dog, he wants to kill the guy.
It's a revenge story.
It's a revenge story. It's fine, I get it.
In that case, the guy seeking revenge was good, and in this case, the guy seeking revenge was bad.
No, not only bad, retarded. The guy sat in space for 20 years in the same spot, hoping against hope that Spock was going to show back up. If he was moved both in time and space, then how can he know what is his logic for thinking that Spock was also moved in time or only in time, different than him being moved in space? They both moved in time and space, but he knew somehow that if he waited for 20 fucking years, that Spock would show up. How does he know Spock didn't show up 100 years in the past? How does he not know that Spock didn't move at all in time? He only moved in space. They went through a goddamn wormhole, and somehow he knew that if he just sat in this space, the only variable of the explosion between him and Spock was time. And that if he waited fucking long enough in this one spot... dude, he had a vessel so fucking powerful that he wiped out a fleet of Starfleet vessels. This movie...
Those weren't warships. Right? Those were exploratory vessels.
They're all exploratory vessels. How do you know this? Starfleet's not a military.
Yeah.
They're all exploratory vessels.
Yeah, that's what I
But
said.
he has a mining vessel so fucking powerful that he blows up Vulcan, he blows up a fucking fleet of Starfleet vessels. If this becomes a much more interesting fucking movie, if all of a sudden he goes back in time and space, he gets it confused that, maybe Spock didn't blow up this fucking sun, that maybe Spock just failed at his job, and he goes to Romulus, all of a sudden... If he goes to Romulus 20 years before Kirk becomes the fucking captain of the Enterprise, and Romulans have 20 years to take a technology so advanced that a mining vessel can wipe out fleets of Starfleets, all of a sudden we got a much better movie. All of a sudden we have a movie that there are stakes, that it makes sense. There's no fucking stakes in this goddamn movie.
There's no... Okay, I get that you're saying the bad guy has very weird and doesn't He doesn't
He
have
doesn't
really.
know-
He
he doesn't
doesn't have a
make any
complex
sense.
idea. It doesn't make sense. But there's stakes. Like this guy's going on a killing spree with a super technology ship. Like there's tons of stakes to a point. There might be too much stakes that things might not matter as much as.
Look, they remade Star Trek. They remade
did.
Star Trek. There is nobody from the fucking bridge or engineering part of the goddamn ship that's going to die. There's nothing about this that says that we've got a fucking problem. Like, I fucking hate JJ Abrams. And if you're watching JJ Abrams, just so you know, I'm not one of those people that like will hide on the internet. If we meet face to face, I will let you know to your face, stop. Unless he edits this perfectly.
It's
Jason.
Do you want me to
let's
add,
run
let me
fucking
add like
battery.
a effect?
This is can you put a lens flare in here?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, great. So you didn't like the water pipe.
No.
They kept the movie moving, and yeah, I could tell even the first time watching it, like this camera doesn't need to be tilting, and they don't need to be running right now.
Hold on, I want you to define for me kept the movie moving. What do you mean by that?
They like people like the camera moving or people running around because they just don't want static shots because they don't want it to look like a TV show.
I mean, that's fair, but my only problem with it is that that's fine. You can keep a movie moving and keep the plot moving. Like every goddamn time that movie stopped for action for no fucking reason. It is okay. Look, we all hate Michael Bay. I'm hoping we all hate Michael Bay, right? His biggest sin in all those fucking Transformer movies is so often he gets so caught up in the fucking action shots that doesn't stop to think about whether or not he's actually progressing the plot of his movie. Like, if you look at the Avengers, right? The Avengers is, in some ways, a gold standard of storytelling. Not just because they took all these disparate parts and made one movie, but the fact that every time there was an action sequence, it had impact on the plot. The plot was different from when it went into the action sequence to when it came out of it. And in Star Trek, they added action sequence after fucking action sequence for no goddamn reason. They fought on top of that fucking, the drill that blew up fucking Vulcan, they fought on that and did nothing. Vulcan still blew up. Did the fucking water pipe scene for no fucking reason. The only action sequence that mattered was when Kirk, or Spock beat the shit out of Kirk, and then when they actually finally fucking fought the Vulcan at the end of the Romulan, at the end of the movie. But there's so many other action sequences in the movie just cuz.
I will give you some of that. It does tend to operate at like a high level instead of like the flow that makes it more comfortable for a viewer and for someone as critical as you.
I'm not that critical.
So-
it just got to make sense. I need to understand why things are happening.
So Michael Bay has noisy frames and noisy sequences for no
Yes,
reason.
for no reason.
I don't think this was like a loud movie, but they tried to keep the energy up, and yeah, they probably lessened some of the cool action sequences. I thought the part with Sulu and a sword, I thought that was cool.
Oh god damn it!
I liked the fact that Kirk couldn't fight. Like he was terrible at fighting.
Okay.
And so it was more just people bashing against each other, which I think movies need more of. I mean, just people just trying to figure out how to fight. And I know they beat him up a little bit so you'd empathize with him quicker, but I liked it.
Okay. This is okay. I really don't want to analyze this movie from the perspective that it's a Star Trek movie. I really want to talk about it as it stands as a movie because it's a shit awful movie. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's a fucking Star Trek movie. But this is the one spot I really need to just like. In the original series, Kirk was the fighter. Kirk was the fighter. He was the one guy who knew how to fucking kick ass. The only one on that goddamn ship who knew every fucking fight scene from the original series stars Kirk. First fucking time they beat Khan, long before the movie, when they first run into the TV show, it was Kirk that beat him in a fist fight. Nobody else. It was fucking
stupid.
Kirk. You're fucking stupid.
That's stupid. He's already the captain. Why is he gotta be a good fighter?
Why can't he be a good fighter? Why all of a sudden you gotta make your goddamn... I don't know what the fuck Sulu does that goddamn vessel. Whatever the fucking thing...
He's like this. He's not second in command, but he does like whatever.
Whatever,
Yeah.
right? He's still in
got
a
a
position with
role.
no goddamn... Yeah, apparently. He's not the fucking engineer. He's not the goddamn pilot. He's not the goddamn translator. He's certainly not the second in command. Sulu's just kind of fucking there.
Would you have felt better if this movie existed the same, but they didn't ape the TV characters so much, or didn't try to.
Oh, they were talking to Chris.
I've never
I was looking at Chris for an answer.
Would you like this movie better if they wouldn't have had Kirk, Spock, Sulu, the Doctor, what's the Russian guy's name? Whatever. Like, would you want an all new cast? Or like an all new character spread? Would that piss you off less?
Okay. Here's I don't know if the answer to that is yes or no, but here's why it pissed me off. Is because they took an established property and they wanted to revamp it and they wanted to bring it into a new generation. Not the next generation, just a new generation. And I understand that and I'm okay with it.
I'm part of that new generation.
That's right. Yeah, fuck Pepsi. But like the thing that bothers me is that why do you have to do it in such a way that the twist, right? That your new spin on everything is that you just convolute the roles. Why do you have to take Kirk was the fighter, now let's make it Sulu, right? Like why do you like what was the purpose, what was the intent of trying to take these characters that had specific roles and specific and not just like I'm not talking about like on the ship. I'm talking about like as a movie character. It's that character's purpose in the movie, and just change it. Is that
Sulu wasn't there to be the fighter. I mean, that was something he could do, and they probably put him there because
he was not the fucking
really
fighter in any of the fucking old movies, any of the TV show. Like all of a sudden, JJ Abrams was like, you know how I'm gonna make this cool? I'm gonna make Sulu the fighter. Yeah, fuck you, fan base.
He only fought in like one scene though.
The only fucking scene where they fight, he's the fucking fighter. Like, the only other time that Kirk is fucking throwing a punch is when he's fighting Spock. That's it. And then that fucking bar scene, but fuck that bar scene.
Do you want there to be more fighting with other characters? I thought it was fun. I thought when it goes down there, it is absolutely insane to send your captain down for a fight.
It absolutely is. Look, I'm not going to sit here and defend the original series and say, yeah, we should send the captain, the first mate, our medical officer down to a planet.
And take the keys with you. Take the keys with you.
Keys. I'm not going to sit here and say the original series is some gold standard. But like,
roll down the window so we don't suffocate inside here.
But it is a gimmick, man. It's 100% a gimmick to take these established characters and change their roles. And not change the rules in such a way that you know that going in, but like halfway through the movie, be like, hey, they have to go fist fight. You think Kirk's gonna take care of an audience? Psych! Sulu's gonna do it. Like, it's just a fucking gimmick, man. It was just a gimmick just to try and catch the audience off guard because JJ Abrams cannot write interesting characters. He cannot write an interesting story. The only thing that he can do is throw a gimmick at you to keep you interested. That's it. Spoiler alert, Force Awakens, whole movie. Shit.
We'll get to it. Part of this movie, I think, is Kirk growing up, understanding that he can't do it all, learning to work a little bit more with Spock.
Completely unknown to Star Trek 2. Spoiler alert.
Oh, okay. Whatever. So he starts in the Kobayashi, well, he doesn't start there, but the Kobayashi Maru, he decides to cheat so he can be the winner and do it on his own.
Right.
The rest of his bridge didn't know what was going on. They hacked in that system or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end of it, he relies more, not only through his sheer force of will, in being like, not a martyr, but whatever, like taking responsibility for his actions and trusting his team. Like I think that's the true story of the movie. So these things that don't make...
He cheated and didn't tell his crew. He didn't trust them.
Yeah, that's the beginning of the movie.
He manipulated them.
Beginning of the movie.
Okay.
And then at the end of the movie, he's at least operating not like a captain should, but more like a team player would, I think. And taking like responsibility not just for this success that he cheated out of, but growing. So when you bring up all this
growth, are you talking about the part of the movie when he like shit talks Spock just to get under his skin so he'd punch him? Is that the
That's like
part?
2 seconds after the Kobayashi Maru.
No, that's like after he gets back on the fucking, or just when he gets sent out of the ice planet.
Yeah.
He shit talks Spock.
Until he steps down.
No, until Spock beats his ass under the ice planet.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking no.
No, I thought Spock stepped down after he beat him up because that's when Spock acknowledged he was like out of control emotionally.
Yeah, maybe. But either way, like Kirk has no other way. Okay, look.
I like Kirk being kind of a prick.
Fucking, here's why this is bullshit. Okay, here's why this scene is fucking bullshit. Because what he does is he gets under his skin over the fact that Spock just lost his goddamn family. I don't know if Winona Ryder survived or not. Don't know, I don't care. Shit writing either way. But,
No, she didn't. His father did.
no, his father died. I know for a fact his father dies.
Okay.
And here's why. Because Kirk's fucking father died. Kirk grew up without a goddamn parent. Or without his dad, right?
Yeah.
Instead, okay, again, JJ Abrams, fuck you, stop making fucking movies, you dumb ass. Kirk grew up without a father. What better way in that moment? He comes back out of the ship. Spock was emotionally compromised because his father died. Instead of having an emotionally raw moment between the two of them, of Kirk talking Spock through his pain of not having a fucking dad, his idea is, I'll just piss him off till he punches me.
But isn't that,
Wouldn't that make for a better fucking moment in a movie?
It's not the cleverest thing, but it goes back to when Kirk was on trial with Tyler Perry or whatever, and they got under his skin a little bit. I mean, it's not the smoothest transition, and Kirk is still a jerk at this point. Like, and if he does things through a jerk way, I think it would be emotionally manipulative to let
Emotionally
it be
manipulative?
a resonated.
Okay, look.
We both lost our fathers.
Yes! That's fine.
What's yours name, Martha?
Save Tiberius.
That's a stupid name for a father.
Why would you say that? No, look, this moment in that movie was set up for such awesome emotional pathos. When Kirk got back to the ship, he had actually appealed in a much more positive way to Spock about, I understand better than anybody here the pain you're going through. All of a sudden, not only do we see that Kirk is an effective leader, but Kirk is also somebody who cares about his crew. That is the type of hero we want. Somebody who not only cares about the people but knows how to lead them. Instead, he just pisses Spock off. Like, that's his fucking answer. Like, I'm just gonna make this guy fucking mad, and then that'll be captain again. Like, that's his whole goal. It's not to create a cohesive unit, but to just become fucking captain again. He gives no shits about anybody. This is the character they've written. He does not fucking care about any of them. If he did, he would have tried to create a bridge that had fucking teamwork. Instead, he's like, I'm going to show all these other fuckers over here how big this fucker is by making him mad at me. No. He had a moment to be a true leader, and instead, JJ Abrams wrote the character to be stupid fucking idiot.
I like him being a bully in that scene. I mean, I don't want the clean, emotionally resonant version of that scene. That's not interesting to me. I felt the pain when Kirk's dad died because the opening of this movie is freaking awesome. With Kirk being born.
It was
That's
pretty.
Awesome.
It was pretty. It was well shot. JJ Abrams, one thing you do well is you can fucking put together an action. You can make things look pretty. So only do that. You're not second. You're eighth on the fucking list of people who should have input to a fucking movie.
Right.
Your scene in fucking Force Awakens where the X-Wings come over the water, awesome. Everything else about the movie, fuck you.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. We'll get to that.
So the plot of this, like, I'm reasonably on board as much as I am with anything else that's big budget and kind of dumb. And yeah, if I had more connection with Star Trek, it would offend me more that I could say, yeah, it's kind of.
But this doesn't bother me that it's not because they ruined Star Trek. No, they made a dumb movie. Like, I cannot emphasize enough how much the bad guy not making any fucking sense, not having proper motivation, pisses me off. Like, all of a sudden, this becomes again. If he knows he went back in time because he sat in the same spot in space for 20 fucking years, so he had to have known either he didn't know he went back in time or he's the dumbest motherfucker, and how is he even capable of doing some of the shit that he does? But he had to have known. This becomes a much cooler movie, a much cooler franchise if all of a sudden he makes Romulus the dominant military power in the quadrant.
I don't see them having time to set that up.
They had 20 years.
No, I mean the movie. I don't see the movie having time to set up this master awesome villain with also creating Star Trek. And a lot of that is retconning.
You don't need a master awesome villain. All you needed was okay, he was a blue collar worker. That's all he was. He was a production supervisor. This guy wasn't a military genius. This guy wasn't a general. This guy was just a fucking production supervisor of a mining vessel. So if he doesn't need to be the bad guy, all he needs to do is take the technology to Romulus and pick a new fucking bad guy. Pick Admiral Asskicker. All of a sudden, that's your new fucking bad guy. And that guy's got 200-year advanced technology. That guy can go blow up fucking Vulcan. Let that guy do it. All of a sudden, now we got fucking Romulus running around as the dominant fucking power in the quadrant. That is an interesting goddamn movie. And also, that then puts Kirk in this moment of, like, at the final, like, in the final battle, if he has to, he's back against the wall against an actual military genius, like, that is a good fucking movie.
He wasn't ready for a military genius.
He wasn't even fucking ready for a production supervisor.
Okay, good. So it's an even matchup.
But somehow he was ready for Spock. Somehow he was ready to piss Spock off enough.
Yeah, that was a weird Kirk-only strategy that... No, it doesn't 100% check out, but it's good enough to get me to the next scene. It's good enough.
Your level of good enough is I weep for you, man. Like, I wish you could enjoy movies at a much better
You wish
level.
I could enjoy movies? I
Yes.
wish you could enjoy movies.
You are the same fucking people that made Transformers make $1 billion fucking dollars.
We're not talking about Transformers
No,
right
we're
now.
not.
That's tough, man.
Look, as shit. Here's
the
what
characters were good. The dialogue was...
No, the actors were good.
Yeah, the actors were good. They were well cast. They did the most... The lines that were funny and charming were charming. There's some clunkers in there, but it's sci-fi and it's Star Trek. So, yeah, some of it reads like a book report. The action was... they kept it moving. Which,
No, they didn't. They kept... Okay, by moving, I'll agree with you that at no point... Okay, half that movie feels like a fucking screensaver until we get to the next moment in time where we're actually doing something.
Yeah.
He gets teleported into a poop chute, and we get a 2-minute fucking action sequence of Kirk running around a goddamn maintenance bay.
But because
Trying to free him from the shitter.
But because Scotty's having so much fun with his accent and his character, whatever, and because the Doctor is having so much fun, one doing his own thing and two trying to be the guy from the original series, it's fun. So I stick around with some
What
of
do
these
you mean by
clunkers.
okay, that's just it. Trying to be the guy from like this again is this disparate bullshit that JJ Abrams. Fuck you, Abrams. They shoehorn Scotty in as the Scotty from the original series. They shoehorn Bones in as the Bones from the original series. And I think that I can't remember his fucking name. Keith Urban. What's his real name? Fucking. Sorry, man. You're. I actually really enjoy
Carl
you.
Urban.
Carl, I enjoy you in so much. I apologize for thinking you're a country singer.
And Judge Dredd 2, we're hoping. All right, continue.
Seriously. They shoehorn these guys in as like, we're going to take these characters from the old series and we'll throw them in as fucking fan service. But then as a gimmick, just to keep people on their toes, we're going to change this other set.
They feel shoehorned
Okay.
in because you have such an attachment to the originals.
No, it's because they fucking... Okay, you cannot, as a gimmick, change half the fucking bridge and say, ooh, check out what's different here. Sulu's a fucking hand-to-hand fighter now.
Yes, you can.
And then over here be like, wink, wink, audience, Bones said the thing.
But they didn't like pause and like do a hee-haw thing. Like he said it.
It felt like it when he's like, damn it, Jim. Like, it was a fucking hee-haw goddamn moment in that movie. That is a
I
great
enjoyed
expression,
it.
by the way. That is a hee-haw fucking moment. And they
enjoyed
did
it.
that. Look, you cannot do both.
Star Trek!
You either hee-haw the whole goddamn thing, or you do none of it. And JJ Abrams was trying to both appease the fans of the original shows and movies, at the same time throwing a fucking gimmick because that's all he knows how to do. All of his shit is gimmick. Everything he fucking does is a gimmick. He has no master plan. He has no idea how to write a good movie. He's just like, what is the next gimmick I can get to?
Replace gimmick with 4-quadrant movie that needs to make $200 million to justify another one. And so, and then I'm with you. Like,
What do you
yeah,
mean,
if they
quadrant?
like men, family, women, children, or sorry, men, women, kids, family. So they gotta make it tolerable for everybody. And yeah, so movies take a down step from that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a shout out to my favorite movie podcast called F This Movie. I really like those guys. Okay, and one of the things that I've learned from listening to them is if you try and make a movie for everybody, you've made a movie for nobody. Find your audience, make a movie for them.
With $200 million, you need to broaden that scope a little bit. I think, as someone who was aware of Star Trek, but never really got on board with it just because it just wasn't my speed. The Star Trek movie wasn't my speed either.
That's fine.
But it was close enough, and I really enjoyed the characters, and yeah, they said the lines I know, so that was kind of cool. But I felt like the acting was good enough that it punctuated well and it worked. And yeah, I probably laughed at it because I know that reference, but it wasn't like they weren't just like showing up memes on the screen or something like that. Like,
But
it was clever and the interplay was good.
It's not clever, man. It's not like that's not what clever is. Like this is the same mentality that makes the fucking what the shit is that? Fuck. Not Scary Movie, but what are the fucking Scary Movie parodies? You know what I'm talking about.
I thought they were scary.
Look, is it Scary Movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Scary Movie, yeah.
Is the,
Scream, yeah. Okay, look, the clever is not pointing out pop references. Clever,
But they're
is
their
finding
pop
way-
references. They incorporate them okay.
Look, I can write a goddamn Star Trek movie tomorrow that includes all the fucking famous, like, beam me up, Scotty. I can put all of that in there.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make me clever. That means that I have a basic understanding of the shit that I should put into the movie.
Yeah.
But then he takes all the other half, like, the characters that don't have, like, the thing, right? The saying, like, beam me up, Scotty, right? Or, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, right? Like, all the characters that have, like, a fucking catchphrase, he left alone. All the characters that don't have a catchphrase, he was like, what can I change? That shows me he's not a clever man. That shows me that he is an idiot who's like, I have to do this, but over here, just to catch people off guard, what gimmick can I throw out? Oh, I'm going to make Sulu a fake Jedi. Ha! Gotcha, audience.
The sword fighting
Did
was
that
in
coming, did
one
ya?
scene.
Why the fuck are there swords? It's the future. It is 2016 right now. We don't fight with swords now.
They weren't having
How
a
in
sword
1,000
fight like
years
throughout
do
the
we
movie.
need to have a fucking sword
One
fight?
scene, he's the only dude with a sword, I believe.
No, he has a fight. He uses his sword against
Yeah.
that guy's fucking pole or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason.
Captain Kirk was swinging his helmet around. I thought that was
Why?
cool.
Nobody uses a sword now. The only reason why it works in Star Wars is because the Jedi use it like a goddamn shield against blaster fire.
Maybe they didn't want to shoot the ship.
They were on the thingy, the giant penis
Yeah.
that fucked Vulcan. Like, that's what they were on at the time. Which didn't work, if you remember, from the fucking movie. They tried to stop it, and it didn't stop it, because guess what? Spoiler alert, Vulcan blows up anyways. What the fuck is a sword for in this fucking movie? Except to be a goddamn gimmick. That's all he can do. That's all JJ Abrams can do to fool idiots into thinking, wow, what a clever man. He's not clever, he's stupid.
I got to see in this movie Kirk have a little bit of change and become closer to the captain that I expect him to be.
Psych, all taken out in Star Trek 2. Spoiler alert.
Well, whatever. I'm not defending Star Trek 2. Spock got to open himself up to his human side. I thought they did a really good job with his opening on just the two types of being that he balances himself between. And open himself up to Uhura, but she's kind of boring, but that's fine. I mean,
but here's the thing. Okay, again, I'm not trying to compare this to the Star Trek that it came from, but I can't help but do it in some instances, like right there when you say they make Uhura interesting, because Uhura was fucking interesting in the original series. They just didn't know how to fucking do it in this movie, so they're like, here's how we'll do it. We'll just make her a love interest. Boom. Interesting. Because JJ Abrams is a fucking idiot and doesn't know how to make characters of his own.
if she was Kirk's love interest, then I would be closer to where you're at.
But then that ruins the character of Kirk. That goes against who Kirk is.
Good. I mean, I'm glad they didn't do it. That would have been a cheap shot. I mean,
I'm fine with Uhura being a Spock. That's not my problem. But the problem is that that's the only identity she has in that movie. She does two things. She understands the difference between Romulan and Vulcan, and she fucks Spock.
Those are her two goddamn attributes because they don't know how to fucking write her in any other way.
But there's
even though they
something-
have years of source material to pull from.
A competent person on the bridge. I guess I'm okay with that. And if everyone's doing the balance between the new and the Star Trek lines, then maybe you need.
I mean, even Spawn.
She's kind of a straight person too, like a little bit,
I mean, kind of.
and
yeah.
kind of a wet blanket, which is a totally another discussion too.
Well, yeah, but in the that actually is kind of
Okay.
true to the original series. But the thing is that like even Spock's like, oh, I'm half Vulcan, I'm half human. Like that took the original series 30 years to get to. 30 fucking years. This like literally like in the original series never addressed. It was the fucking movies when they finally dealt with that. 30 fucking years. And in this movie, it took them 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck it.
It's a movie.
Let's take the one thing about Spock that took that was the slow growth and be like, let's just jam this all in here. We have nothing else that makes fucking sense, so let's just make more things that don't fucking make sense.
I think it makes sense. It was a little bit rushed when you put it right next to Kirk's role. I would have saved it for the sequel, like that actual discussion on Who Am I?
But Spock, but the thing is about Spock dealing with his humanity, the human side of him, wasn't a character growth moment. Okay, I understand what you're saying about watching Kirk
I think it
grow.
was.
No, it was a character teardown. It was at one of the most pivotal moments in the movie when he's the captain of the Enterprise while Kirk is not executed on a fucking ice planet with no survival gear. When he comes back and he pisses him off and then Spock punches him, right? That is like 3/4 of the way through the movie. Spock didn't grow. Spock took a step back. That is what his character did. He went from being so fucking competent that he made the training program to determine whether or not you are even allowed to be a captain. And later in the movie, they made him not competent enough to be a captain.
He's learning to balance those two sides. He had to accept.
Learning to balance those two sides. He grew up on fucking Vulcan. He had it in balance. That is the fucking point. They gimmicked him to not be in balance, just cause. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry that, like, okay, I want you to understand, audience, for the 5 of you that actually watch this, I do not actually believe that the loudest voice wins, but I fucking hate this movie, man. I fucking hate this movie. And I don't want Charlie here to agree with me that I'm right just because I'm fucking loud.
Oh,
But-
don't worry, I'm not going to agree with you. They're right. So
But,
it's
like,
fine.
you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, Spock was the person who was able to determine whether or not you were competent enough to be a
Yeah.
captain.
Yes.
And then 3/4 of the way through the movie, they decide to make him no longer competent enough to be a captain.
Classroom.
How is that
real
a
world.
step forward? How is that a step
By acknowledging
forward?
your weakness, because that's probably who's going to do it.
I want to have
Are we running?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
my whole goal with this is to have a YouTube link
So you can just send people.
to send to JJ Abrams.
Do
Like
it.
that's it.
Oh, I
Just-
signed us up to be, or I signed me up, and I will rope you two in to be extras in Transformers 5.
Done.
Today. During a work meeting, I sent the email.
All right, done.
It's in Detroit.
Look again. I fucking JJ Abrams is shit, man. He is god damn it, I hate him. I understand the need to have a fun movie. I get that, right? I understand that not every movie needs to be fucking Inception, where you got to walk out of the theater like talking about the mind-blowing experience that you had. But look, Agent Smith in The Matrix was not a complicated character. They gave me the 2 sentences of dialogue that I needed to like, you know what? He doesn't like humans. He just doesn't like humans. And then all of his actions after that follow some semblance of a logical path. Nero, in this movie, doesn't like Spock, and then none of his actions after that make any sense. Not any of them.
It's not we've already been through this. It's not a well-articulated plan, and that's part of why I like it. I like to see people screwing up and not really knowing where they're going on a movie.
Charlie, you're like in your mid-30s.
Yeah.
So if Nero blew up Vulcan today, that means he came back to this timeline when you were still in your awkward high school phase. That's how fucking long
he sat in space. All the way to your awkward middle 30s phase. Like, all the fucking way. Like, that is a long goddamn time to sit in one spot in space waiting the fuck around. Like, if he had shown up when Kirk was 15 and killed Kirk's dad, all of a sudden, like, the rest of this movie works. Or if he had shown up at Kirk's birth, like he did, and then gone to Romulus and made a fleet of invincible ships based on current technology. Also, again, a great movie. But what they did, where Nero sat in space for 20 fucking years. Like, who does that? Not only that, but
Nero.
not just Nero. Nero commanded an entire ship of people. So the other 20 to 1,000, who fucking knows? Romulans, Remulans, because they were not from Romulus, they were Remans.
Okay.
Like, they were all on board with just like fucking chilling in space for 20 years?
What if they
Like, not a
would've-
single one of them said, hey, why don't we go to fucking Romulus, see what happens?
What if they wouldn't have had a backstory and they just would have been alone? This was all their race, almost like in Star Trek 2. Like, this was all their race, and they were on a warpath.
You
Would
know
you
what?
have felt better about the movie?
Absolutely.
Okay, just because they didn't even try.
Absolutely. Look, again, like I said, John Wick, Payback, there's a whole long list of movies where, like, the bad guy's motivation, or in, like, John Wick and Payback, they're both kind of a bad example, the good guys, who's also sort of the bad guy's motivation, is like, fuck it, rampage. But I just need 10 seconds of believable impetus. That's it. And they don't have that in this movie. Again, if this had been a JJ Abrams version of the Borg, where all of a sudden it's a species we've never seen before, who's like, fuck it, I'm coming in to kill. Like, which, by the way, was the movie Independence Day. You know what? Fine. I get, like, once, like, I cannot look at what humanity has done to all the species of animals on this planet and go, nobody would just wipe out a species for no reason. Like, I get that. You know, like, I just want to establish dominance. That is a realistic motivation that we have seen play out in the real world. But, like, fuck it, I'm gonna sit here for 20 fucking years and then just go kill something? Kill something not involved in what I'm even dealing with?
Maybe as a sophisticated viewer, I was able to tune out the parts that piss me out.
How does that
I
make
could
you
just enjoy the movie.
sophisticated? How does have a giant fucking gaming plot hole and being able to tune that out make you sophisticated?
Because I saw enough good in the movie, in the performances, in the joy of the characters, that I was able to go with it.
No. Poorly written, poorly directed, definitely poorly shot, lens flare.
Yeah, a little bit
Like,
too much
the
trickery.
only
And he
saving-
totally didn't learn his lesson on the second one, which pissed me off.
No. The only saving grace of this movie was that he had a good cast. And even then they had shit to work with. I mean,
I don't think
like, again, I love Carl Urban. I think he is underrated. I don't know if he's quite the leading man that Hollywood really wanted him to be, but he is fucking awesome. Is definitely a second. And all they did was like, you know what? You're gonna just regurgitate a bunch of lines from
And he
a
was
TV show
so
40 years
good
ago.
at it. He was
He
so
was.
good.
He was. I'm agreeing with you on
If he
that.
was just sitting there not doing anything with him, like if he was just doing the line and then getting out of there, but he brought some of his own texture to it. And
Oh, absolutely, man. I like Carl Urban as an actor.
And so there's a little bit of the director
But they gave
allowing
him-
him to do that. Because I've seen him in
Allow
some
him to
garbage.
do what? They gave him lines from 40 fucking years ago and said, do these the way the previous guy did. And Carl Urban brought it. That's not freedom. That is a goddamn prisoner, hands chained together, chopping fucking rocks in an old gulag style prison. And Carl Urban fucking brought it against JJ Abrams bullshit.
My final thoughts on Star Trek, and then I'll let you do your final rant. I agree with you. The bad guy is bad. Maybe I'm used to, especially on first movies, the bad guy always being kind of crappy. That backstory, I can get over it. The characters were fun. Most of the action was good, even though it just moved a little bit too much, but I understand why they did it. The lens flares, whatever. I mean, it wasn't great, but I loved seeing those characters interact with each other, even if they were just redoing stuff they did in previous movies. Anton Yelchin was great, and yeah, whatever. Sorry, he died. He was a great actor. He did great, even though he's an actual Russian, and he still did the fake Russian accent from the TV show. And I thought it worked. That could have been corny as heck, and it probably was, but I just had a smile on my face seeing them interact with each other and getting through stuff, even when the stuff didn't quite make sense.
Okay.
So, fun movie. They lost a lot of momentum in the time it took to make the second one and how the second one turned out. But I'm happy it exists, and I'm excited to see where the third movie and finally the new TV show go. Where do you go?
Okay, so I would be remiss if I didn't say, fuck you, Robert Ortsey, and whatever Kurtzman's first name is, fuck both of you.
Mhm.
You're also
Those
terrible.
guys, yeah.
I hate you. I understand what your motivation is when you write movies. You want to do everything you can to make the studio happy and nothing to make the audience happy. Fuck both of you. Get out of Hollywood. Go fucking do whatever the hell you want to do that isn't ruin the entertainment that we all like. JJ Abrams, get the fuck out of Hollywood as well. The three of you can go start a commune, grow some fucking cucumbers, whatever the fuck you want to do. Stop being around the studios and just saying yes to every goddamn stupid idea that they fucking have. All three of you, fuck off. Okay? Now, that being said, dear audience, if you're okay with action for the sake of action that doesn't move a movie at all, except it keeps the camera moving, I call them screensaver shots, go fuck yourself. You're the reason I hate current Hollywood movies. If you don't care about the motivation of the bad guy, and you just want to go see handsome people doing fun things, go fuck yourself. You're the reason I hate most of Hollywood movies nowadays. If you don't know what a gimmick is, and you think that just, seeing half the cast be exactly like the original series, and half the cast being new and different to catch the audience off guard, go fuck yourself. I don't like you guys either. You're half the reason I fucking hate Hollywood right now. Like, when we see directors like Christopher Nolan, right? When we see directors like Joss Whedon going out there and we see them making good, interesting movies, and I know I just picked two kind of sci-fi guys, but believe me, there's more out there. There's more people doing interesting stuff. Like, when you hold those up against what people like JJ Abrams does, where he gets in there and he now I don't want to say single-handedly because he definitely had Ortsey and Kurtzman with him. When you see the three of those guys take a beloved franchise and nearly fucking kill it, there's a problem there. They took Star Trek and couldn't make that work. Fucking Star Trek. This is one of the most loyal fan bases in all of Hollywood. They couldn't make it work. They fucked that up. I mean, if they hadn't fucked that up, then why is Justin Lin making the third one? And only making the third one 8 goddamn years after the first one. Because there was a fucking, I guarantee that somewhere behind the scenes, there was a debate about whether or not they should continue with the series. And you know why they fucked it up? Because they can't write believable bad guys. They do not understand their characters. They certainly do not understand the technology they're working with. And for whatever goddamn reason, they don't understand that a fucking advanced or mining vessel, not even a warship, that can destroy fleets of fucking stars. Like, why didn't they go to Earth? Just fucking go to Earth, wipe out all of Starfleet in 10 goddamn seconds, and then you can destroy any fucking planet you want after that. Any fucking planet. You know what would be an even better choice? Go to fucking Romulus. Hey, I went back in time 200 years. Oh, and my ship is so advanced, I blew up an entire fleet of my enemy without even batting an eye, without taking 0 damage. You know what would be a good idea? Let's go take this back home and accomplish 2 things. Number 1, hey guys, you should move. Number 2, here's this advanced technology. Let's go dominate. Right? Like, this becomes a much, 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 much better fucking movie if all of a sudden the Romulans are something to fear instead of some Reman floating around with fucking face tattoos like he's goddamn Mike Tyson hanging out there without any fucking rail. How? For 20 goddamn years it moved, but nobody not a single fucking person, Riemann, fell off those goddamn walkways with no railings. Like, this is not space OSHA. Like, seriously, OSHA, I don't like you guys, but you should start tailoring all your fucking regulations for spaceships, because these people don't know what the fuck they're doing.
You're talking about space OSHA. All right.
Space OSHA. Like,
Okay. All right. If only they would have helped, the Star Trek could have been better. I disagree with about half you said, and I've.
It's why.
According to you, I've effed myself 8 times.
Yes.
So, all right, agree. Disagree.
Why are you settling for half-baked shit?
Maybe
why
it's
do we not strive for better?
Maybe it's because Star Trek was never like inherently like part of my culture or like.
No. Look,
growing up.
I'm not.
And maybe it's
Trekkie-
because I wanted to see fun characters with doing things that might have been newer to me than you and well cast and.
Oh no! Believe me, a bad guy having no motivations was new to me. There's a reason why I hated this movie so viscerally.
And I mean, this came out around the time of Iron Man, and that those movies have had terrible bad guys too. And just it had a similar like
they've had
joy in lines and that sort of thing.
The Marvel movies definitely have a bad guy problem, but their problem isn't that the bad guy's motivation doesn't make any sense. The bad guys aren't fleshed out the way the heroes are. Like, oh man, Obadiah wants to make illegal arms deals, and Iron Man wants to stop him. Oh my gosh, like, we currently have Hillary Clinton. All we need is an Iron Man to fight Hillary Clinton, and we have fucking the original Iron Man movie. Like, this is not, like, I understand that it's not it's not a three-dimensional character, but it is a motivation that makes sense. Motherfucker hanging out in space for 20 fucking years when he could have gone in that time and gone and saved his planet. This doesn't make sense. Like,
I'm okay with it. Like, and I'm sorry that we're different on here. And there's been movies where something's like really irked me, but I think
I really want to know if this is a movie that you're giving a pass to. I really want to know what irks you. We got to get to that.
Any of the Transformers movies, since you brought up Michael Bay, at least these characters talk to each other, and there's a little bit of weirdness with the female roles, but it's not like super terrible. Like I could at least believe that this was a community.
What do you mean by female roles? There was one girl. There was a female role.
Female role, whatever.
And she was reduced to love interest.
I don't
in the
think
original
so.
series, she was fucking nobody. But in this one, they're like, you know what? We don't understand girls who aren't riding a dick, so give her to Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Spock. Like, that was what JJ Abrams fucking did. I'm sorry. I don't mean to leave out Orsi and Kurtzman. Fuck all of you.
I will rewatch Star Trek in the next week and put a rebuttal on this if I need to. Right now, yeah, I'm giving it a pass. Enjoyable. I'll be there for the third one opening weekend.
I will too, just because it's Justin Lin. Man, you've done an okay job with the Fast and the Furious franchise. Like, you have a pass here.
If they could have had JJ Abrams direct that, they would have done it in a heartbeat. I mean, he's not directing that because of Star Wars commitments.
No, he's done with Star Wars. They kicked him off.
They did not kick him off.
Dude,
he signed up for one.
No, the second Star Trek was so bad, it nearly killed the franchise. They kicked him off. I guarantee, because
why is he still producing it? His name is before Justin Lin's on all the trailers.
Yes. Because the contract that they signed, because he was the one who rebooted all this shit, he gets a producer credit. That doesn't mean he was actually involved in the making of the movie.
We will watch the third one.
We'll watch it and we'll see. Because if the bad guy makes no goddamn sense, Abrams was involved. Because, spoiler alert, Star Trek 2.
Yeah. We're not going down that
Spoiler alert, Star Trek 2, Kirk's the bad guy.
All right. Okay, thank you for this. I thought I'd feel like a sense of calm, but I just feel more wound up.
Yeah.
We did it!
We did it!
All right, we're done. All right, Jason.
Thanks for the 5 of you who watched.
Hi, Jason's mom and Jeremiah.